The jungle slept under a silver blanket of moonlight. Every leaf whispered in the breeze, every branch carried the weight of silence. Yet in the middle of this vast wilderness, something fragile had been left behind. A tiny baby, resting in a woven basket of leaves, breathing softly under the stars. His face, calm and innocent, glowed against the darkness. A spark of purity in a world full of danger. Around him, the forest stretched endlessly, filled with unseen eyes, hidden claws, and sharp fangs. Alone, abandoned, vulnerable, this little soul was waiting for something or someone to change his fate. In that quiet night, destiny prepared to awaken in the most unlikely of heroes. In the tall grass, two tiny eyes shimmered. A small gray mouse, no larger than a walnut, crept forward with cautious steps. She had no reason to wander there, no reason to stop. And yet, something invisible was pulling her closer. Her whiskers twitched. Her paws brushed the warm earth, and then she saw it, the baby. She froze. Never before had she seen such a delicate creature, so helpless, so pure. For a moment, the mouse simply stared, her heart racing with wonder. But then, deep inside her tiny chest, a flame of determination began to grow. She understood, without words, without reason, that this child needed her. Fate had chosen her, the smallest of protectors, to guard a life much greater than her own. But the jungle never sleeps without danger. From the shadows, a shiver spread through the grass. The sound of scales sliding against the earth filled the air. Slowly, with cold golden eyes, a venomous snake emerged. Its forked tongue flickered, tasting the air as it fixed its gaze on the basket. Hunger burned in its stare. The serpent slithered closer, its body coiling, muscles ready to strike. The baby slept on, unaware, dreaming of gentle things while death crept nearer. The air itself seemed to tremble with the hiss of the predator. Each second stretched like eternity, and with every heartbeat, the serpent drew nearer, ready to deliver its fatal strike. The little mouse trembled, her tiny body shaking as the serpent towered over the child. She could have fled, she could have hidden, but something inside her burned stronger than fear. She would not let this baby be taken. With a sudden burst of courage, the mouse leapt. She sank her small teeth deep into the serpent's tail. The monster hissed furiously, twisting and thrashing, its body slamming against the ground. But the mouse held on, fighting with a strength far beyond her size. At last, with an angry screech, the serpent recoiled and vanished into the shadows of the forest. Silence returned, broken only by the soft breathing of the baby. Against all odds, the smallest creature had won. Peace settled once more. The baby, untouched by the danger, stirred in his sleep and smiled softly, as if some gentle guardian angel had whispered in his dreams. The mouse stood by the basket, her tiny chest still rising and falling with exhaustion. She gazed at the child with new determination. No longer was she just a small creature of the forest. Tonight, she had become something more, a protector, a guardian. The jungle hummed with distant sounds of life, but in that clearing, there was only stillness, only the bond forming between the helpless child and the tiniest hero. She made a silent promise. This baby would never be But destiny had yet another trial. In the distance, a faint glow flickered. The crackling sound of fire began to echo through the trees. Carried by the wind, flames spread quickly, devouring the dry leaves and branches. The air grew thick, hot, suffocating. The smoke curled around the basket, and the baby stirred uneasily. The fire roared louder, closing in, painting the night sky in shades of orange and red. The forest itself seemed to scream as it burned. The mouse's heart pounded. She knew there was no one else, no bird, no beast, no human to help. If she failed, the flames would take everything. And so she braced herself for the impossible. The little mouse ran to the basket, her tiny paws trembling against the heat. She grabbed hold and pulled with all her might. Inch by inch, the basket slid across the dirt, away from the hungry flames. The fire roared, snapping at her tail, sending sparks into the night. Her lungs burned, her body screamed for rest, but she did not stop. Step after step, drag after drag, she refused to give in. At last, through the smoke, they emerged into a clearing, untouched by the fire. The mouse collapsed, chest heaving, but when she looked up, she saw the baby safe and calm once more. And in that moment, exhaustion gave way to pride. Yet the jungle's dangers knew no end. From above, a piercing cry tore through the air. A shadow swept across the clearing, vast wings blotting out the rising Sunday. An eagle, ruler of the skies, had spotted its prey. Its sharp eyes locked onto the baby, its talons gleaming with deadly intent. With a rush of wind, the mighty bird began its descent, cutting through the air with terrifying speed. Every heartbeat thundered like a drum. The mouse looked up at the sky, so small beneath the giant wings, and knew the fight was not over. To protect the child, she would have to face a force far greater than anything she had ever known. With unshakable resolve, the mouse raced up the trunk of a tree, higher and higher, her claws gripping the bark. Below her, the eagle's shadow grew larger, darker, as it swooped down. The mouse's heart thundered, but she did not stop. And then she leapt. Her tiny body soared through the air, landing on the eagle's leg. She bit, with every ounce of strength she had. The bird screeched in shock and pain, its wings faltering. The baby slipped from its talons, tumbling down, but fate was kind. He landed softly in a bed of leaves, unharmed. The eagle, humiliated, fled back into the sky. The mouse, battered but alive, had once again turned the impossible into victory. And so, as dawn broke, the jungle bathed in golden light. Birds sang once more. The fire was gone. The serpent and the eagle had vanished. The baby, now awake, giggled with joy, his tiny hands reaching for the sky. By his side sat the mouse, her whiskers twitching, her eyes bright with pride. She was no queen, no giant, no mighty beast. She was small, fragile, almost invisible in a world so vast. Yet she had shown that courage is not measured by size, but by the heart that beats within. As the sun rose higher, the mouse made a silent vow. She would never leave the child, for she had become more than his guardian. She had become his friend, his hero, his forever